Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maggie, and if this is your first time stopping by, I hope you decide to like and subscribe and click that notification bell. As you saw from the description, I'm kind of doing a walkthrough of the no-sew costumes I made for my granddaughter's 18-inch doll collection. These are dolls that were either her mommy's or her Aunt Hannah's, or dolls that I just picked up in the thrift store for about $3. I'm not sure how this lighting is going. I see the light reflecting off my earrings. This is in my granddaughter's room in my house. And so I'm going to turn the camera around, and I do have a little small demo. I'm not going to do a full-fledged DIY because this is so easy and simple. Anybody can do it. It just takes a little bit of imagination, some hot glue, some items that I picked up in the Dollar Tree or things that I had on hand. So let me turn things around. Okay, here is just a few of her dolls in their little costumes, and we'll get on over to this side here. I'll pick up each one and just explain what I did for that particular costume. Now, all the costumes were handmade, and this one here was wearing a dress, and I just made the wings. So we'll start with her because this is pretty simple. This is a thrift store doll, actually. This type of 18-inch doll is available at Walmart. This is one of the Walmart 18-inch dolls. I think they're very pretty. They're beautiful. They do have an issue, though, with their legs later on, because I know that this one, and then there's another one over in the corner there, they have a very difficult time sitting down. So something goes on with the mechanisms in the legs, which is probably why they lose interest in them or whatever. But I think they're very pretty dolls. And this one is named Molly. That's her twin sister, Polly, over there. But I made these wings, and they're very simply, I'm sorry, her crown fell off. It's very simply some Dollar Tree poster board that I folded in half and then drew that wing design. And so then both sides are the same. I sandwiched, because there's purple, actually this is the purple scraps, but it's purple on both sides with cardboard in between to give it some strength. And then I just cut out shapes and glued on Dollar Tree jewels. And this is Dollar Tree ribbon I put here, but I also put the Dollar Tree, no, this was actually Walmart ribbon, 47 cents for a spool. So whatever ribbon you have, and I think I'm probably going to let my granddaughter add some more embellishment here. I try to do the same design here as I did on the back, and then you can see where I took felt and I can glue down actually a little bit more. And I just created straps that go around the doll's shoulders, just like the little wings that you get in the Dollar Tree for children. I just glued down a piece of felt, and then I glued down the straps. You see the elastic? That's Dollar Tree elastic. And then put a felt piece on top. And that's it. And then it goes on. It goes on the shoulders like that. I could probably have made that a little bit tighter, but that was easy, and I'm going to enjoy making others. This was some flowers I had on hand, and I just grabbed those little, those little flowers with clips. I had some that I had taken off, and these clips were left, and so I just put a flower right on the clip. And so now her dolls have hair clips with flowers. Okay. Let's see, let's do Fancy Nancy. This was a doll I actually got in the thrift store about 5 years ago for $3. And it's 5 years ago, because I got this doll way before Eleanor was born. It could have been 6 years ago. I do family group Bible studies. My husband and I do a couples group, and I have a ladies group. And I don't want a lack of childcare to ever be a reason someone can't come to one of our Bible studies. So I started picking up some toys that were inexpensive, that I would feel comfortable with them playing with, that if something did happen, child being a child, and an accident happens, that I'm not heartbroken because it was an expensive toy. So Fancy Nancy came with her dress, socks, and shoes, everything. It was just so adorable. I made the skirt, and this is the technique I'm going to demonstrate for everybody. You could probably guess how that's done, and I could add a little bit more of this tool. This is the netting, the tulle netting that's on the spool that they sell in the Dollar Tree, the glittery netting. This was from the foam pumpkin sponges. I'm thinking, because this is so thin, that I'm probably going to glue some cardboard on the back of this to give this a little bit more stability, because this is fragile, very thin. And I did another one on the back. My granddaughter is going to be a pumpkin this year. And so I thought, okay, we'll give her one. And then this was a scrap piece of greenery from some florals I had at the Dollar Tree. And of course, I just drew the face on. Those are the Dollar Tree googly eyes. Once again, I just attached elastic to make it like the little placard. I probably could have made the elastic smaller. And then for the headpiece, I did the same thing. I measured the doll's head with the elastic itself to see how much I would need to make it sturdy and strong. And then I just got a piece of foam that I cut out from another pumpkin shape. I glued down the tabs and then put another orange circle on the top. And then I just got the little glittery pumpkin. I got a piece of this that I scrunched down to make a little circle. And then I got the 3 pumpkins and stacked them with the greenery in between to make a fun little pumpkin hat, and then colored in the stem. So it's a fun, easy thing to do, and the skirt underneath is adorable. I'm going to demonstrate this type of skirt because that's literally how every other skirt was made, was with this technique. So let me put her down and show you very quickly what I did. All right, so I just grabbed some of the Crafters Square elastic band. They have all colors. The color of the elastic doesn't matter. You can pick what you want. This is a little scrap piece. It's actually a little shorter than what I used, but you would cut the strips to the length that you want. Be careful, because with this and some of the other tulle on the spool, the glitter and the little white foamy parts for the Christmassy ones, it does shed when you're working with it, but that is sweepable and you don't lose a whole lot off the skirt itself. But just be warned that glitter does fly off of this. I grabbed me 2 safety pins. This was the technique I found that worked the most effectively, and I'll do this here since it's white. And I just pinned this down onto, actually it was the arm of my chair. Let me see if I can get this in here properly. Secured it down. That's not as secure as I'd like it to be, but let me see. I'll use this for demo purposes. Okay. After I've measured by putting it around the doll's waist so that it will pull tight and hold tight, that's what I determine how long to make it. So there's no like 10 inches or 8 inches. It depends on the doll itself. I pin down on each end. I'm not going to cut it because I'm not actually making one. And then I take the piece of, this could be a piece of fabric, it could be a piece of this tulle, it could be even yarn. And you saw the little Hawaiian girl outfit, that was yarn. That was a Dollar Tree yarn. I make a loop that's relatively even, and if these aren't perfect, it's okay, because you can go across the bottom and trim the bottom so everything's even at the end, and then use the scraps for other things. But I come through here, and then I take the tails and I put them through this. This is no new technique. Now, what I found to be the most effective was to leave my finger here while I'm pulling. Otherwise, this gets all twisted up, and then you have a little bit of a challenge till I can't do it anymore, and then I carefully pull it tight. Now, do you see the glitter that's already coming off? That happens. Now, when it starts to twist, as you see it does, you can just simply take and untwist it and then repin it. That's what I did for a lot of this. And it doesn't matter which direction your loop goes. That's up to you, because most of this will be hidden. I try to have it to where this part is on top, not this part. But then once as long as each one is in the same direction, it's not going to matter. That's how I did every skirt that you see here. It didn't matter how wide it was. And some of the organza, the purple organza, was about this broad. The ribbon was about this broad. When you gather it up and make that loop, it doesn't matter. But anyway, that's how I did every skirt. This is strictly no sew. No sew at all. It's hot glue and knots and cutting things with scissors. That's it. So that's easy. And then you just put on as many as you can fill in there and then pull it tight. So there you go. Now our next doll, we'll call her our little Moana. This was another, the same Walmart brand doll. We call her Rainy. She came in a pretty rainbow outfit when I got her for, again, $3 at the thrift store. She actually, her legs, her ability to sit down is still there. The other two, it won't happen. But I thought she was the perfect one for this. This right here was simply taking scraps of flour, flour scraps from my stash. And I've had these for, I can't even tell you how long. And I used, let me see if I can get this to focus properly. Come on. Come on, focus. All right. Well, I simply took the thin floral wire that is sold at Dollar Tree, and I just began to wrap, I'd cut, a pretty good piece of it and do it piece by piece. But I also looked at how it looked in the front and made sure that I was putting the pieces that were thick. And see, I have a piece here that I need to glue down. I need to wire that down. But I would stack them on top to make sure the front of this was very lush with flowers. But it was really nothing but stacking on top. Do you see here? Where I just wired them together, made sure, and then I was checking the size of the doll's head to make sure it was big enough to go on her head and stay on her head. And then hot glued other areas. And I told you I just found a spot that needed some gluing down, but that's fine. So that's her little hat. That you could do this with Dollar Tree flowers that are out there right now. Those little white filler flowers. She's pretty, isn't she? This was, as you can see, this is that yarn that Dollar Tree has carried. This has been from several years ago. I bought it because I love the color. I thought it was stunning. Had no idea what I was going to do with it. I also have this in burgundy, but look how pretty that is. I'm not sure what you make with this, but I bought like 2 of each spool, and I thought, you know what? That would make a very pretty kind of grass skirt. And of course, using the same technique that I just showed you, I did this with the yarn. And she could obviously be wearing a swimsuit underneath this, but I just put that on like that. And then when I trimmed the bottom so that it was all even, I used some of those scraps up here to create a nice little embellishment in the back. And also to provide a little bit of a bed for the seashells, which are also Dollar Tree shells. I cut out a piece of felt from the Dollar Tree, and I laid the strap that ties all the way around onto that and glued it in place. Then I laid down the scraps of these on top of this band, glued them in place, and then I went around the edge of the seashell because obviously there's a hollow in the middle of these clamshells that you're not just, yeah. I only glued down the edges of this and then created that cute little seashell top for our little Polynesian girl, or our little Moana doll, if you want to call her that. I think she does look a little bit like Moana. I loved that. I thought that was pretty. But if you don't want to do the top, you can just do the skirt. I know my granddaughter loved the idea of her dolls having costumes. This one here is that tulle ribbon that has the puffy snow on it. This will also shed. So be warned when you're making this. And I did the same technique, you can see here, of making the skirt. This was before I discovered pinning down the elastic, so it's twisted in quite a few areas, if you can see that. But afterwards, I thought, I want to add a little more to this. So I got the Dollar Tree. These come out at Valentine's Day. They call it the table scatter. There's no sticker on the back. It's just these hearts in pink and red that are a few different sizes, I want to say. I think there's large and medium. I don't think there's anything smaller than this. But I decided to glue them all over the skirt. And once again, this is, you see she's wearing her dress underneath. This is only meant to, and I could actually, if I had more of this, I could add more, because you see there's some gaps once I put it on her. You can do that too and check, and if you want it to be much fuller. But this I think is fine the way it is. And it goes all the way around. Oops, she's got some gaps back here too, which is fine because this is supposed to be a costume. But you see where I could add more if I had more of this color, and I don't have more of that color, which is why I'm not going to do it. But so she has her dress on underneath. This right here was simply a piece of felt that I either got in the Dollar Tree or I got it at Walmart. Either way, it worked. I just came up with a pattern that I laid down, and then this I actually could tighten, because you see how loose that is. I actually could cut that or tie it, but I wanted it to be able to go on the doll and come off the doll. And it's just a little like a bib kind of pattern that goes around to the back. You could, if you sew, I'm sure you could do a much better job than me. I just wanted to create something. You'll see it better on some of these other dolls I've made. But I took the scraps I cut off the bottom of this, and I used these little pearl brads. Brads are those things that you can poke through and then splay them open. I'm sure you know what those are. These were given to me a while ago, and I just stacked up some of the scraps of this, put the brad through the center to create kind of like a little flower pattern, and then hot glued those to the little pink felt foundation, and then I glued the hearts on top. I don't know if this has a specific theme, except, you know, not really Queen of Hearts. And then for her headband, once again, it was a piece of felt and the elastic, and I glued some more of these on top, and then the hearts on top of that, so that she would have a cohesive little skirt. And I may again improve. This doll had belonged to my granddaughter's mommy, my youngest daughter. So this was the original Walmart doll. This is how they looked 20 some years ago, and this is how they look now. So they did some improvement, but you can tell she's got some age on her by the way her hair is. And they all collapsed. I like to braid the doll's hair to keep it from getting messy. So let's get these gals standing up. They all fell over. All right, next we have this doll, which in actuality, her mommy and her Aunt Hannah, my two youngest daughters, had these dolls. They're from the Magic Attic Club doll line by Robert Donner, from 20 some years ago. They don't make them anymore. And the ones they had gotten for Christmas, after a while, I think we wound up donating them because they just weren't interested anymore. And I found her in the thrift store fully dressed. And this was the one my daughter Hannah had. So I said, she's going home with me for $3. Yes, ma'am. And so she is just very pretty. I gave her a little patriotic outfit, once again, following that technique. These are, again, the glitter tulle that the Dollar Tree sold. I had several spools of it. I want to say this skirt here took 2 each of the red, white, and blue. It could have been 1.5 each. I'm not sure. But this is a much fuller skirt than the previous one. And the glitter, you know, it's very pretty. I haven't trimmed this, so you can see how kind of uneven it is at the bottom. I may decide to trim that today. But like I said, it's not perfection. So here's a better look at the material or the size of the little bib type thing that I make as the top. I made hers because she's a little bit slimmer in her body. I made sure that this would be fitted to any of the dolls that we have. This was the table scatter that's been offered, and during 4th of July and during the summer. And so I did the same thing with the headband. It comes in multiple sizes. And then these were jeweled stars that were also available. They're not adhesive, so you had to, in the Crafter Square. You can see again in the back. Let's see the back is, I really could tighten that up a little. I cut out a circle and glued down the elastic, but once again, maybe I could make an adjustment so that it fits her a little bit better there. Because this, on her, she's the only one where these come together and meet. The other two have, the other dolls have a larger torso. And then here's the ribbon that I gathered so that it ties up here, but it still works for her. And the headband's the same. I just got some felt and then hot glued the little stars on top. So there's that doll. Stick her. Let me put her over here. Okay. And then we come to our pom-pom dress. Let's move this closer here so I don't knock anything over. This doll had belonged to her Aunt Hannah. This was the Target 18-inch doll 20-some years ago. Those dolls look very different now in their face, but this was her Aunt Hannah's. And this was a very, very broad organza ribbon. You can see how broad it is. It was a little harder to work with, but this one really got twisted up a lot. And then the pom-poms, you can see how I did those on there. The pom-poms are the pom-poms you get in the Dollar Tree. So I just glued them at random on the skirt to make it fun. And then the headband the same way. It's just a piece of felt, and then I glued one of each color on top. You could do that any different way you want. The felt bodice is the same bodice that I've used. And then the ribbon around the neck is the same. And lastly, we have our, oops, let me put her over here. We have our little ice princess or winter princess outfit. This tool here that has no glitter was a dream to work with. It went on so easily. You can see how tight I was able to make it and everything else, but I did a pattern of one glittery one and two because I had more of this blue tulle than I did of this. And so actually I think now that I'm looking at it, the red, white, and blue skirt, the patriotic skirt, may have used one each of the tulle because this was the other white that I had that's glittery. So maybe I had more, I don't know. But you see, again, it's the same technique for the skirt. These were the felt stickers that they had, and these were jewels, and there's the stars again. I just glued them on in a random pattern. Of course, she's wearing a skirt underneath. And then her bodice is, again, tied there, or the elastic. And then the neck is a ribbon. Okay, and you see the bodice. You just kind of come up with your own design. And then the headband is a piece of elastic and felt. And then I glued down the snowflakes. And I just have it on a ponytail, but it's actually a headband. But I thought it looked cute there. I thought I'm just going to leave it there like that. But anyway, I hope this is giving you some ideas of things that you can do that are no-sew. These really didn't take me a whole lot of time to do. Let me back it up a little. I'm hoping that she will stand on her own in these boots. There we go. Back it up a little bit more. There we go. And there's our little dolls. I have some of the little small gift bags that, the ones that they sell in threes at the Dollar Tree, 3 for $1, those little tiny ones. I've gotten some gold and red ones that are going to be their quote-unquote trick-or-treat bags. So I like setting things up like that. When my granddaughter comes, it really fires up her imagination. I hope this is inspiring you to either make some of these things with your own daughter. Sometimes for me, it just takes one thing that really kind of fires up my imagination. I see something someone else did and it really sets me off. And I don't remember what sparked this memory. I don't. I think I saw a video or something, not of anybody making doll costumes, but I remember, oh yeah, that little technique. It reminded me of this technique, and I go, I could totally make skirts for the dolls. But I hope this inspires you to do something fun with your daughter, your granddaughter, to dress up their dolls with costumes for Halloween. Our church, I told you, I really don't celebrate Halloween. Our church does a block party that involves trunk or treat. Let me turn this around. There. Now, I know the lighting is kind of harsh coming from up above. It's better when it's pointed down towards the dolls. But anyway, however you choose to celebrate, I know as a believer, October 31st is Reformation Day for us. That was when Martin Luther went up against the church, the Catholic Church at that time. And it's not the Catholic faith, it was the leaders of the church who were trying to maintain control over the people, not allowing them to read the word themselves and hear from God themselves. They were trying to put themselves in power and say that there were other ways to get to heaven. And Martin Luther, after reading the scriptures, was like, no, it's by grace we're saved, not by works. And so he kind of, nailed his Reformation to the doors of the church on October the 31st. I can't remember the year, but way back when. But anyway, we celebrate by blessing the neighborhood with groceries, with a fun party, with trunk or treat. Costumes and candy are not evil. Okay, I'm going to say that right now. Costumes and candy are not evil. Fun costumes. I don't get into horror or gore because I think it celebrates evil. I don't celebrate evil. I'm going to take back the day that the devil has stolen. So anyway, go have fun, remain safe, and make sure you're being mindful of, the things that I guess you're participating in. I mean, just to be careful and make sure that it's in alignment with your values. Okay. I don't know. Have fun, everybody. I hope these crafts are enjoyable for you and your children. God bless you, and bye until next time. I'm making no sense. Have a great day, everyone.